their own life and destiny in their hands, rather than the constant and incessant interference and indirect rule by the Western world. Unfortunate, the ECOWAS leader or president is now calling for U.S. intervention in a matter that borders on the welfare and the well-being of the African states. When most of the African states are dissatisfied with the tenets of democracy that was copied from the Western world, US precisely, and following the exploitations of the African people and African soil for several decades, if not centuries, it is quite ridiculous and unbecoming of the president of the Nigeria, who measures as the president of ECOWAS, to still call for the intervention of U.S. in African matters and Nigeria, as that the case might be. I would want to, of course, know what is your own take in this. Most African states, of course, are looking forward to an independent, absolute independence of their own states, where they can decide their own future and they chart a way forward for themselves and their population. It's so unfortunate that the Africans, has more or less, especially the African leaders, has condescended to know to portray a very poor and bad image of an African people before the Committee of Nations, who have been ridiculed by the supposed leaders who perhaps uh, have not represented African people before the Committee of Nations very well. African states have been perceived to be the third world countries or developing countries. And how long will that continue? We are endowed with natural resources and human resources. More than 1.2 billion people within the African state, if not more, could not be taken for granted and should be given the equal opportunity and the right to decide and chart a way for themselves and develop at their own pace. Enough of these mediations or interruptions and the adoptions of certain policies, Western policies, being forced on Africa. Of most recent, the former military head of state and who measures as a democratic president of Passenger, of course, made a submission that the African democracy will no longer adopt and accept, of course, the Western democracy, which is a total aberration and has become a cog in the wheel of the progress of the African states. On this note, of course, that ushers in the possibility of Africans reuniting themselves, rediscovering themselves, and of course, charting a way forward for themselves. It is no longer acceptable to be taking Africa for granted or Africa being seen as a third world country. Why they have been exploited, the natural resources and human resources have been exploited, exported to Western world, where of course they tap the resources and we only suffer brain drains down here in Africa. We have the enormous human capacity, resources to strive, to develop as a continent, and of course, foster economic prosperity and the progress for the different populations of the black human race here in Africa. But unfortunately, mismanagement of governance and insincerity on the part of the supposed leaders of African states, unfortunately, have not lived up to responsibility. They have not lived, of course, to their responsibilities, and this has led African states to become the most vulnerable states in the world. And Of course, where people have been pitied, where we only wait on donations from World Bank and policies, adoption from World Bank and direction, which has not even bettered the lot of the entire African state. When you take, of course, just a sample of a few African states, which of the African states are giant and vibrant in terms of economy and the welfare of her citizens? If not, well, let's say for South Africa, who is relatively okay, not even Nigeria, the big Africa brother. Of course, with what is happening, Nigeria is in the state of comatose. The industry is moribund. And while you still have human exploitation going on, people leaving the shores of Africa, their supposed countries, to other Western countries for greener pastures, seeing their supposed country as anti-development, anti, of course, human development, and to their own, a call to their own progress. And this is rather unfortunate. We must rise to change this narrative because it is time we evolve as a people. It is time we begin to ask fundamental questions. Why are we backwards even with the enormous resources available at our disposal? Why are we backward and retrogressive? Why most Western countries come to Africa to exploit our resources to their own advantage and to the disadvantage, gross disadvantage of the masses of this continent, and yet without any recourse and any, of course, checkmate of this abuse and excesses by this Western world. Well, that wouldn't have been possible. The exploitations and the perversions wouldn't have been possible without conspiracy and the collaborations, of course, on the part of the supposed political elites and gladiators who only are there, of course, to protect their political interests and that of their, of course, Western masters at the expense of the teeming populations of Africa. We have an agrarian, of course, landmass which should have been turned to a comparative advantage. We would have, of course, the opportunity and the potential to feed the world, not just the African continent. But unfortunately, with the expanse of land lying fallow and without being tapped or harnessed, African states are hungry, haggard, and have more than, as far as Nigeria is concerned, 133 to 40 million of her population wallowing in abject poverty, multi-dimensionally poor. If you're watching us this moment, I may want to invite, of course, Mr. MC Gamma to lend his voice on these pertinent issues.
All right.
Tinubu calling for US to intervene in African democracy.
All right.
Would it be a conspiracy or a way of protecting his own dynasty, considering the enormous challenges bordering on his integrity of his government and acceptability by the populace of this country?
All right, good morning, Nigerians and diaspora. Good morning, Nigerians. Anyway, you're watching me from Nigeria. Good morning, everybody. All right, my name is MC Grama. Thanks for the question. You said Tinubu invited Americans into the problems of Nigeria, right?
And Africa in general.
And Africans in general. Then, first of all, I want to ask. I want to ask the Tinubu himself. Has he been able to solve the problems of Nigerians? You should be able to be, first of all, if you want to be a better person, you should be able to be good in your own before going outside. So the first thing is, have you repaired Nigeria as a country? Have you repaired Nigeria as a nation? You've not repaired Nigeria, you've not done anything, and then you're inviting America to come. Americans that are looking for way to just take something away from us. You are inviting them to come and repair. What do you think Americans are going to do? Let me tell you something. Like, according to the report I had, I'm told the Americans, I don't know how true it is, but I was told the Americans colonized Liberia. Have they even taken Liberia up? Talking of coming into Africa to deliver Africans. I mean, That's just how do I call it? It's just a mere statement. Let me just talk. Let the whole world knows I talk. That's exactly what Tinubu does. What are you as a Tinubu? What are you doing to repair the problems of Nigerians? You're not doing anything. Nigeria, in fact, Nigeria is even worse than how you met it. In fact, in Buhari case, when Tinubu took Nigeria from Buhari to now, he has worsened everything. So what are you now doing to put Nigeria back into platform? Look at the way dollars is just going every day. We are still going to experience dollar 2,000 in this country.
Honestly, the dollar is almost 1,000, if not 1,000 now. Now, is it a problem that the Americans should fix for the country, Nigeria, and of course Africa by extension? These are self-inflicted, of course, affliction by the political elites, which of course the president, current president, could not be absolved of the complicity.
Let me just tell you the truth. This is not a problem that Americans are going to fix for you. This is a problem I believe that Nigerians will fix for themselves. Nobody will fix this problem for you. It is only you that will fix the problem for yourself. You understand? So what I'm just trying to say is this. I don't know why Nigerians we don't think very well. I'm telling you the truth. Okay, how would we expect Americans to come and fix our problem when we are supposed to fix our problem ourselves? Now, what is the job of Tinubu, the Mr. President? What is he doing there? What is his problem? So why is it that he cannot even fix this country? I don't get you people sometimes. Sometimes I get annoyed when I see things happen in this country. Honestly, all these things is not giving me happiness and joy. Each day I wake up in the morning, I think about this country. I have sorrows all throughout my mind. One of the things I think about is this country is rich. This country is mentally rich to take care of itself. But here, we're not really taking care of itself. And now you can understand what is happening. It's not really doing anything to us. So that's why I'm not even happy. As the things are going on, I don't understand what is happening in this country. Please, I just want to say this to everybody listening to me now. We all know that Nigeria is on fire. We all know that Nigeria is burning. We all know that Nigeria is not getting the best from its president. We all know that we have somebody who is like, I don't want to call him names, but he's not functional. Who is like a non-functional person as a president. So what do? You see my problems with Nigerians. After 4 years again, the stupid people, the stupid Nigerians will still go and vote for Tinubu. You see my problem in this country. The stupid Nigerians will still be singing Tinubu's song again.
So do you have to blame Nigerians at this time? Haven't followed the litigations and the electoral litigations over the recent months. Okay. Should Nigerians, the populists, be blamed
Yes, of course.
for what transpired, or should we blame the judiciary and the electoral empire for disappointing and disabusing the minds of the people?
Okay, let me tell you something. The populace should be blamed. You understand? We need to blame Nigerians. And what are we talking about? We are the ones voting these people in. And let me just tell you, don't be surprised. After 4 years, Tinubu is going to enter again. I mean, you start asking yourself, how do we think in this country? How do we think? That's why we all think like animals in Nigeria. I'm sorry to say this. We all think like animals because we don't even function and think like human beings. We are mindfunded with so many
And
things.
decide that we need to hold the president and the governments responsible. The subject of discussion, and of course, is Africa. Now, can there be true democracy and development without a recourse to the rule of law? The president asking America to come and intervene without setting up, of course, a system that could be very robust and independent without any interference in our judicial system. Because what we see in most recent is more or less left us with nothing to desire about this judicial process and the electoral empire.
Okay, let me just tell you something. Who are Americans? America is a country that built their nation themselves. And today, the whole world is celebrating Americans. They built their country themselves. They built their countries themselves. What stops Nigeria from building their own country? You see, you're not calling a country that built their own country to come and interfere in the problem of Africa, continental problem. You see, this is something I keep asking people. You are not calling one country. It is not true. It's not true. You are calling them to come and interfere in a continental problem. You see, and just a country that built their country. So it means that if that country did not build itself to that level, would you want to call a country to come and interfere?
Exactly, that is their focus.
Yes.
The Americans built their country.
Yeah.
They fought against injustice,
Of course.
marginalization, subjugation,
Yes.
and all manner of vices, and were able to come up with an enduring constitution, people's constitution, oriented constitutions. So, what aspect is Tinubu calling US to come and intervene?
That's why I told you that everybody says that Tinubu is a graduate, to me he's an illiterate. That's the truth. He has demonstrated the high level of illiteracy here. Why do you need to call Americans to come and interfere in the problems of Africans? See, let me tell you, if Nigeria is a country that built itself very well, Africans are supposed to call Nigerians to come and interfere in the problems of Africans. That's the truth. That's how, because everybody addresses us as the giant of Africa. So the Africans are supposed to call us, we the giants, come and interfere into the problem of Africa. Now we going to America to call them because they built a nation, they built a country like that. But here in Nigeria, we're not building a country, and we're calling another country to come and interfere. Now, listen,
Would that be expressed as a lack of confidence in his ability as a president and as an ECOWAS president to chart a way forward?
to me, it shows high level of illiteracy. You understand? Illiteracy is not all about going to school or anything. It shows that Tinubu is illiterate about leadership. It shows that Tinubu is illiterate about politics. Sometimes I wonder when people tell me that Tinubu is a great politician, I laugh. I don't know why you call a great politician. What do you call politician? Some people say he has brain. Are you mad? Is it somebody that knows how to steal votes? Is it somebody that knows how to use wayo? Or is it somebody that kills people? I don't understand you. That's my problem in this country. We all know the kind of person Tinubu is. Tinubu is not. Let me tell you, this country is a country that we are supposed to do things right. Tinubu is supposed to be in jail, not as a president. But because Nigeria is a useless country, and that's why it's ruling us as a country. And so, what do you expect? And my problem is that Nigerians are not talking. Most of us should be on the streets campaigning against Tinubu. Nobody's talking. And so, in that manner, Tinubu will continue to lead us until we all die. But unfortunately,
nobody's talking, but we are here to address the world and intimate them of the realities, the unbiased realities in our own system.
Okay, do you know what
states?
Do you know one thing I want to tell them? Let me tell you. At this juncture, I told people, I'm really need to protest. Let us protest, but who are you going to protest with? There's nobody. Everybody's just sitting at home. That's the problem.
But before protest, I think that need for mental revolution first.
Listen,
to drive a common interest and agenda. And when that is being triggered in motion, then people will know what they are fighting for, what they are protesting for. And when you understand why you should fight for this and why it becomes inevitable and indispensable for you to fight for the survival of not just this generation but the generation to come, then it will inspire you and give you more courage this in the face of confrontations and resistance to fight that good cause. But if you don't, of course, know why you should fight for that, I mean, you will be defeated in the course of time. You just rush out and rush in. I think the first thing we are doing is to sensitize the world and of humanity, especially within these African states or region, that it is the right of the people to have access to good governance, to good life, and to basic amenities. They call it basic amenities. These are basic necessities to aid and enhance, of course, the longevity and the welfare of the citizens. But unfortunately, here in Nigeria, whenever the government construct roads, we begin to celebrate and worship them. Whenever they sand borehole, people begin to sing their praises. I mean, this is arrant madness, and we should begin to understand that they are meant to serve the people with a common words. So where should we begin from this particular point?
Good. I love that. You know, a lot of people used to call me the man who speaks the truth at all time. You know, one thing about me, I don't care who you are. I don't care the person you represent. I don't care whether you're a DSS. I don't care whether you're an army man. I don't care. I say my views even if you confront me on the road. Like the other day I was just walking past and I met two army. They recognized me immediately. Yes, I was speaking on your platform. Most of them were watching the program, and so they recognized me when they saw me, and they were like, "Ah, boy, what's up?" I said, we used to see the way you speak to all these politicians. You know, the army was telling me, "Right on, we're at your back." You know, it gives me joy and happiness. This is a military man. I thought that his approach was he wanted to condemn me or try to bully me for what I've been saying, but he wasn't doing that. He was rather telling me that he appreciates what I'm saying. So telling you that I will always speak my mind. I don't care who you are. What I'm trying to say is that this country, let us start by protest first. See, Tinubu is not going to give us anything. And that's the truth. The OB that is going to give us something. We say that we use tribalism to kick it off. The guys came with their stupid tribalism. They thought I'm telling you about my Jayaku.
Point of correction, not all Yorubas. There are still Yorubas in the hundreds who are not happy with this system.
Okay. 70%,
even with the government of dispensation of
70% of the Yorubas, 70% of the Yorubas voted for their man Tinubu. This is what I tell people. We are imagining it, but because I'm exceptional. So you Yorubas and everything, this is what you have done to. This is what you have brought upon yourself. And I'm telling the truth. Tinubu will make sure that every single being in this country does not survive, and it does not even. It includes you, the Yorubas. Shebi Ashinjera is saying that Ashimajera is 1,000 naira. Honestly. Because I'm even happy that the way this thing is faring. I'm even happy that Tinubu is dealing bad with all of us. They are shouting. There's nobody that is enjoying it. Whether you're Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa, we will feel it all together. You understand? So, no problem. You said you don't want to be a money baby, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine, no problem. What is there is, let us see how it's going to end. But I want to tell you confidently. If you don't know, let me say it. I used to say this, and I don't care anybody that is watching me. Mark my word, I said it. Tinubu is not going to end this year. 2 years, they may kill him. Shetima may take over. I'm telling you, Nigeria will say Akilo, so that's the real point. I see things before it happens. They may kill him. Shetima takes over. And that was the remaining year.
Well, I think that what is important to us is survival of the masses at this time.
Yeah,
we may not go into projections and forecast. How do we survive? And away from that, Tinubu Legal Counsel have asked the US, of course, not to release his gender or other documents. So, what a funny world that we are, honestly. Why shouldn't he release?
I used to tell people that
his gender and documents.
Well, I used to tell people that when it comes to comedy, it is only here in Nigeria that comedy plays its role very well. Because what? All Nigerians are comedians, including our president and everybody.
He's begging the judge not to release his gender.
Of course.
That alone, of course, have given, of course, credence to the suspicions and speculations of the Nigerian masses.
What do you expect?
Of what has transpired.
What do you expect? He has bribed the judge as usual. So what do you expect the judge to do? So please.
You mean an American judge could be bribed?
No, forget about who is American judge.
Well, listen,
everybody takes bribe. But Americans, England, everybody. Just that the only difference in America and the only difference in Nigeria is that they take indirect bribe. We take direct bribe. Please.
Okay, they take indirect bribes.
They take indirect, but we take direct. There's no country. Tell me the country where there's no corruption.
I may say at this time that American judges are now on trial. Let's see how that goes. Whether, of course, the confidence will be fast eroded. Like the Chicago State University has been on the news, on the media. People are bullying and, of course, saying all manner of things. I hope they should respect their integrity if they care for such. And, of course, how to redeem their already battered, if I may use the word, or damage public reputation.
My brother, I want to say something. Nobody's talking about Tinubu and the rest of them because, number one, we know that they don't mean well for Nigeria. We should only talk about ourselves. Nigerians, how do we help ourselves?
Yeah, please. How do we help ourselves?
Nigerians, let's love ourselves. Please. If we can do it, it will go a long way. In this stage, let's try to love ourselves. If your brother is in need, please give him. I've been doing it myself. Please help him out. The situation is so tough now, and the person is not pretending. Some people may not have taken breakfast. Brother, if anybody comes to you that he has not taken breakfast, help him out. I've been doing most times. So yesterday I saw somebody who came that he doesn't have money to survive for a week. My brother, it's not as if I have money, but I just managed to withdraw 10,000 with POS and I gave it to him. So what I'm trying to say is, please, this is not time for us to start thinking that this guy is lying. There's real hunger everywhere. So let's start helping ourselves.
Yeah, there is really hunger, and I want to use this opportunity to appreciate the likes of Mommy Nkechi Okaro, Mommy Cheese, Mommy Kelechukwus, Mommy Mrs. Joy Ehe. Honestly, they have come to the rescues of few of the Nigerians masses here, and we want to encourage them. Of course, Valentine DC, Mr. Valentine, God bless you. You have been doing exceptionally well. And of course, millions, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kenneth, and Mr. Kevin US, and the host of others who have done in the past. Of course, we appreciate you for caring for the masses, regardless of your own challenges.
Okay,
but we needed more, of course, at this moment when we are passing through the most excruciating and exacerbating circumstances.
Okay, I want to use the opportunity as well, just like you said, you're really thanking people. I want to use the opportunity to thank somebody very special, please. I want to thank Mr. Ifeanyi Ugwu. Yes, your business US. The last time I shared my number on this phone, on your platform, so he got it and he called me. And while we were talking, he was asking me some questions about. So we got talking at the end of the day. I would rather say he sent me $1,000. So I want to use this opportunity to thank you and also to thank so many Nigerians out there in diaspora that are doing great things. He sent me, Ifeanyi Ugwu, Mr. Ifeanyi Ugwu, please. I am just, MC Grandma just use the opportunity to thank you for sending $1,000. And I made sure I tried to use it just like I promised you I was going to use it.
Wow, that is exciting. I hope I will have my own commission.
Yes, of course. I try to help those ones that I feel that needs the help, because I'd say hunger is in the land. So please, I just want to say this, Nigerians in diaspora, if you know you are there, you want to help in this project as well, please, you can help support, please. I'm trying to see how I can reduce hunger in the land. I try to help people. I can give you my contact, 09057834780. I repeat again, 09057834780. Please, this is my number. I'm trying to see how I can reduce hunger in the land. When you look around Nigeria, hunger is everywhere. And I'm somebody, I'm too emotional. I got carried away. What do I do to help people?
Okay, thank you so much,
Thank you very much.
Grandma.
Thank you.
Yes, on this note, we wrap it up if we don't see. Okay, Mr. Please come over. Okay, we still have one person to feature in. Yes, and don't forget, please, to join our YouTube membership channel membership, so that as a way of encouraging us to continue in this good work. I appreciate you for that. Okay, we have here with me Mr. Felix. Good morning.
Morning, sir. Well done, sir.
Yes, our discussion is that Tinubu calling for US to intervene in the matters of democracy and governance in Africa is ridiculous. Why shouldn't Africa be matured enough to chart a way forward for themselves, or to develop themselves by themselves, just as America fought for their independence? They developed at their own pace, and today they are being celebrated. Why should such interference and meddling be encouraged even by the supposed Nigerian president?
Well, first and foremost, I am quite surprised. This government is speaking with two mouths. When they came that the last election, this election was a fraud, they went against them. Now you are calling the United Nations to come and help us to do what is needful. I want to say this, and I want to stand this. We know our problem. We Nigerians, we know our problem. We African people we know our problem. The very day we begin to do the right thing, we'll get the right results. If we don't do the right thing, we begin to get the the same negative result we've been getting.
Now, what is the right thing, and how do we get about it?
The right thing is that we should be doing the real election, not selection. In African context, we are not doing election. We are doing selection.
And we should be held responsible.
It is the INEC and the leaders in power. The leaders in power.
The INEC has the mandate, of course, to deliver good governance or electoral process to the masses. Then when they fail to do that, what is the role of the masses holding them responsible?
Well, let me say this. INEC went all over the world. We are telling the whole world that they are going to transmit the results. There's going to be electronic voting. And that encouraged the youth that, okay, since it's going to be transmitted, everybody went out of their volition, out of their okay, let us believe them for the very first time. But the result is the case. When you saw INEC came on the day, listen, on the day we did presidential election, the presidential thing for the president, they couldn't upload it. But the one for the Senate rep, they were able to upload it. Don't you think there is something wrong somewhere? That is why I'm telling you that we've not started doing election, we are doing selection.
Now, how and when will that commence? Because Nigerians are hungry and nothing is working, no system is working. The industries are moribunds and they're comatose. The entire economic, of course, system in Nigeria is almost at the verge of collapsing. $1 now is almost 1,000 or if not more. Because I'm aware that euros is far exceeded 1,000 per euro. So how can we get things right rather than waiting for the next dispensation of
the best way we can get things done is that for us to be a producing nation, we should stop importation. We should start producing and exporting out. Like now, we don't have power to dictate. And if we are producing, we have the power to dictate. The dollar will be able to come down. Nigerian citizens will be able to dictate. This is how much we want. The naira is depreciating day in and out. An ordinary Nigerian citizen cannot feed 3 square meals in a day.
Is it that the governments, those within the corridor of power, are daft? If I may use the word, it might be so harsh, but then I think that is the right word. Is it that they are clueless or they lack direction? Are they not seeing those indices or factors that promote economy? And why are they not, rather than telling the whole world, calling for America to come and intervene?
What I am telling you is still buttered on. We have not started doing election. We are doing selection. Abiogami, is selection we are still doing. Now, the day we begin to do election, you understand? Go and look at 2015. Everything APC promised Nigerian people, nothing was fulfilled. They promised change, they gave us a negative change.
But that was change. You never asked what kind of change.
They gave us a negative change.
A change, they really gave you a change.
A change that they said they were going to do. $1 will be equal to a naira. Petrol will be sold for this amount. People and some other things. But what is the end result? The end result is that nothing came out of that. That's my humble question.
Come out of that. Now, Tinubu's counsel is asking the U.S. judge, begging the U.S. judge not to release his gender and other documents. Do you see anything smelling?
I can sense a foul play in this. Why are they going against it? He's a public figure. He's the president of Nigeria. And you said you went to a school, Chicago State University. For example, Peter Obi went to Musuka. Are you telling me that they now say, okay, give us Peter Obi's results? Will Peter Obi go and appeal against it? No!
I wonder, that is quite fascinating.
My take is that there is something under the green grass. Let's see what will happen at the end. I know Atiku wants to get to the root of this matter, and by the special grace of God, we will see the end result of this. That's my humble take, sir.
That is your humble take. Thank you, comrade, for your submissions, and of course, you've heard it. And let's know what is your own take regarding these topical issues that have been stretched this morning. And we will keep discussing, of course, these pertinent issues, pending on when and, of course, the masses get informed and acquainted with the realities on ground, and possibly will rise, of course, in defense of their first fundamental right of existence and as a people. Well, not until then, I hope you also have your own part to play. Of course, by encouraging us, running data in Nigeria is nothing. Of course, it's very expensive at it stands now. And we need to keep this work moving. And whatever encouragement, we will appreciate that. I think that is communicated. Thank you once again. On this note, I wish you all the best. For those who have made their comments on the, of course, the comment section, thank you very much. We love you, and wishing you all the best until the next edition. Remain blessed and have a fantastic day.